One of Charles's favourite sports is polo. He was an enthusiastic player until injuries limited his performance. He rarely plays now, but would like to see his boys take up the game.
Well, there's no doubt about it that the Prince of Wales would love both his sons to become polo players. I mean, it's a brilliant game anyway. I mean, it is somebody said to me, what a lovely way to have a sweat, and it is, really. It's sort of, I mean, riding horses, the involvement with horses. You've got none of the problems you've got with fox hunting and, you know, the blood sports angle. You're sitting on a horse, hitting a ball, and you've got a nice degree of physical contact with the riding off and you know, the hooking of the sticks. It's a good, strong, manly game, and apart from the fact it's bloody good fun.
Reluctantly, Diana took her boys to watch Charles on the polo field. She found the game boring, like most of her husband's interests, but realised that her sons felt differently. They enjoyed the whole polo experience. William has gone on to take lessons himself. He now owns his own polo pony and has a real aptitude for the sport.
William and Harry have been given sort of private lessons, sort of not quite behind closed doors, but without anybody watching them. And both of them enjoy the game. The problem, the major problem that William is going to have, of course, is he's left-handed. And of course, there are no left-handed polo players in the world. You know, when you line up, you've got to line up right hand to right hand, which is quite obvious because otherwise people would kill each other. What you're talking about in polo is swinging the stick. You've got to get that whole swing and the swing of the shoulders. So you've got to, he is going to have to switch his whole body balance from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. That'll be difficult for him.
Princes are expected to have a military career. Charles was in the Navy, but William has shown an interest in the army.
He's doing very, very well in the combined cadet force at Eton. I understand that he won the Sash of Honour last year, which was for the most outstanding sort of young cadet, soldier cadet of his year at Eton. So that's a big thing. He's going to be a soldier prince. And there's this big talk, and I'm sure this is right, that he's going to go into the Welsh Guards. That will be obvious, because when his father becomes king, he will be the next Prince of Wales, so he'd have to go in the Welsh Guards. So that would make a lot of sense. Good regiment, nice regiment.
The night before Diana's funeral, William and Harry had prayed beside her coffin with their family and with leaders of the Landmine Survivors Network with whom she'd recently visited Bosnia. William and Harry chose to walk behind the coffin. Earl Spencer commented, "My admiration for those boys is beyond bounds. It was the most amazing display of courage I'll ever see." In his eulogy to Diana from Westminster Abbey, he swore the Spencer family would protect them.
And the sparkle in those unforgettable eyes, your boundless energy.
He pledged that Diana's blood family would continue the way she was rearing her sons, so that they were not simply immersed in duty and tradition.
Bearing in mind what Earl Spencer said at the Abbey in that very contentious and rather bitter speech about the blood family looking over the upbringing of the boys, one would have expected them to see more of William and Harry. They don't, and one of the reasons, undoubtedly, is that what Earl Spencer said upset Prince Charles because it called into question his abilities as a father. Most fathers don't need another family, albeit the in-law family, to say, we shall be watching you, we shall be watching you. And it was a very unfortunate choice of words that he used.
Diana went home to Althorp, the Spencer family estate. She was buried on a tranquil island in a lake within the park of her ancestral home. Flowers were taken to her grave and scattered so that they will reseed and grow again. Her brother chose the island as her final resting place so that William and Harry would be able to visit her graveside in privacy. On Mother's Day, they sent flowers there. Earl Spencer opened Althorp and its Diana Museum to the public for 2 months a year. Diana's will had given the Spencer family the moral authority to help guide William and Harry to maturity. But the boys remained closer to their father than their uncle. In her final years, Diana and her brother had not been close.
They hadn't really seen eye to eye for quite a long time. They'd had their ups and downs, and the families didn't really meet very frequently in a year. So Charles Spencer's family and his children hardly knew William and Harry, as a result of which it is definitely known that the boys do want to be with their father on all occasions now. I mean, they go to Highgrove to see him when they can, and throughout the holidays they want to be with him. Also remember that Charles has deliberately gone out of his way to have his diary cleared for school holidays so he can spend as much time with the boys as he can.
The other woman in their lives is Camilla Parker Bowles, whom Diana blamed for the breakdown of her marriage. Public opinion is still divided over her acceptance as Charles's partner.
She's brought up 2 children of her own. One suspects he asks her advice from time to time about things. In the recent years, in the crucial, recent, difficult years when the boys were growing up and when it became clear, even to them, that they could not avoid knowing about the existence of this lady.
In July 1998, it emerged that William had agreed to meet Camilla. Charles had recognized the maturity in his elder son.
Only recently, in fact, has Charles had any form of formal discussion about the situation with William. William's attitude was, whatever makes you happy, Papa.
The Queen Mother shares the Queen's pride in Diana's boys. William in particular has grown close to the Queen, who has identified in her grandson the qualities required to make a fine king.
Whether William, given that all he's been through, might say in the next few years, who needs this? The people don't seem to want us anymore. We're going into Europe. What's the monarchy's role? It would be very human and people would understand if he said, I don't think I want to do this.
Can Diana's sons hope for personal happiness after their great loss?
Let's just hope for both their sakes that those boys are given the freedom to make marriages that really work, find girls that they really care about, who really care about them, who are prepared to put up with all the inconveniences of being royal, as well as the considerable perks and home comforts of being royal, but above all that these marriages don't end in divorce like their parents, like so many royal marriages recently, because of the strains and because of the people in the House of Windsor being so cold to the people that marry into it. I think Diana's left enough with those boys for that not to be true of them.
As the years go by without her, Diana's sons will draw on her legacy of love and her caring for others. Earl Spencer said Diana brought to their lives something quite different and wonderful. With Prince Charles's help, they will build on her foundation, making a more secure monarchy for the future. Diana's efforts will not have been in vain.